Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Give me an oh, yeah, Danny. That's funny. All right. Here we go, people. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Anibal here. I am your producer and host, and you are watching SparStar Unleashed. To my right, I have the Director of Operations and my co-host, Mr. Michael Gross. And today we got a special guest in the house. We have the new SparStar 135-pound champ in the house, straight out of Agira Fight Systems in Fontana, California. Please help me welcome the great Danny Martinez.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, today's sponsor is brought to you by Logic Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If you are looking to get into the martial arts, this is the gym that you need to go to. You need to go see Lucas Rocha, who is the owner and operator of Logic Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You can sign up for your free class. They have a kids class. They have a women's defense class. They have a men's introductory class and also some advanced classes with some great fighters coming out of that fight camp. Please welcome to SparStar Unleashed. Gentlemen, welcome.
Let's go.
How you guys doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing amazing, brother.
Great.
Did you train today?
Of course, every day.
Every day,
Yeah.
all day,
Never
every
fails,
day.
yeah. All day,
I
every
see
day.
those knuckles. You got a
Yeah.
little Band-Aid on them, so you get
Always
beat up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
How about you? Did you train today, Michael?
I chased around my 20-month-old. So
That's training. You got those strong quads and hamstrings from picking up the baby.
That's it.
Awesome, guys. Well, today we want to talk about, I really want to start off the show with talking about our last Fight Night 55, how everything turned out. And obviously we have the champ in the house. First, want to give you again your congratulations.
Thank you.
But let's go right into it, man. How did you feel going into the fight? Tell us a little about what went down. I know there's a little bit of controversy in there.
A small controversy.
Small controversy, which
Michael
can talk about. But let's hear your side of it, Danny. How do you think everything turned out?
I think it went great. It was exactly how I planned it. I felt great going into the fight. I had trained really hard, which I always do. I had a couple injuries going into the fight before that one, so I wasn't able to work certain things. This one I felt a lot better. I was able to recover a lot more beforehand, and I felt great going into it. Was able to go in there, get the first round knockout, exactly like I worked for.
That's exactly what you planned for.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I mean, let's not gloss over it. You said it was a first round knockout. The crowd went crazy.
Yeah.
The sold out Commerce Casino crowd was on their feet, screaming, shocked. It was incredible. The energy was just awesome.
Yeah,
it was a beautiful fight, man. I did a little highlight reel which we posted on Instagram. You guys can go check that out of the fight. And it was a beautiful knee to the face, a knockout, left him completely stunned, and then you just had to finish it off with a couple of more little pepper and some punches on top of that, to make sure that the fight is over. But going into the fight, I know we had the face off with Michael Santiago, and he was coming into the fight as a favorite, And you were an underdog, so a lot of people were thinking that you were not going to win this fight.
Yeah.
So I know psychologically going into any fight, there's different things that goes into people's minds. What was your thought process prepping for this fight, leading up to the fight and actually being in it? Were you, affected by, that process of people's thinking that you're the underdog?
Not at all. I feel like the only people that thought I was an underdog were people that don't know me or don't train with me or haven't seen me fight before. A lot of those people have only seen the fight from the previous SparStar where I lost to Dylan. But before that, I was on a 3-fight win streak, all in the first round. I feel like my record doesn't really reflect all my wins and my actual talents because I started off kind of rocky. I had like 4 or 5 fights before I did any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at all. So that's why you see a majority of my losses are in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I'm 4-1 in my last 5.
How long have you been doing Jiu-Jitsu now?
Like 5 years.
Okay.
And I'm a brown belt. I just got my brown belt on
Oh,
Monday.
yeah. Congratulations on that as well, brother. I saw that promotion that you had. Well-deserved,
Thank you.
Awesome. What are your thoughts, Michael?
I mean, I thought it was incredible. Danny didn't consider him an underdog, but most people, if you had asked them on fight night who they thought was going to win, I heard it. I heard a couple fighters in their interviews saying they wanted Michael Santiago after this. And of course, that's not, Michael Santiago's incredible. He has a massive career ahead of him.
Yeah, much respect to him, by the way.
Yeah, awesome dude. But it was Danny's night. And I did want to get into a little bit the controversy, which there really is no controversy. No one from Michael's team is complaining about this. Yeah. But what happened, I'd like to hear Danny's version, but basically your knee connected with his face to render him unconscious. In amateur MMA, knees to the face are not legal. But let's hear what actually happened from you, Danny.
So I had already started attacking his body from the very beginning. I knew that southpaw, the rear tie kick to the body, was open. After the first couple times I landed it, so that's what I was really going for. I was attacking the body again, but he went to level change, and we had actually went over this the week before the fight. We knew that he shoots wide, like he brings his hands out when he shoots. So we were aiming for that body because we knew it was going to be open. He just happened to shoot a little bit farther than we expected, and he caught that knee. But if you watch the slow motion video, you can see that the rest of the kick still connected to his body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But it was a body kick, and he just leveled.
It just happened at the perfect time where he was coming in and you were throwing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Boom.
Yeah, so this is something that you planned for.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I didn't know up until that day that it was illegal in amateur MMA to have knees to the face.
Yeah.
But you explained it to me perfectly, and I said, okay, that makes sense. So it was still a win, and it's not a controversy, but we did want to bring that up, because it was definitely part of the fight.
There have been a couple people commenting, and it is what it is, but it was a knee to the body, or a kick to the body rather, and that's the way it connected. So. Camo, and we're not going to take a championship away from an epic knockout like that.
Right. It was definitely one of the highlights of the night.
Absolutely. And at this point, we're talking about, we're getting into, it was the first of 4 title fights scheduled. Yeah. So the place has just become full capacity. We're packed in wall to wall. The place is going crazy. Michael's got a ton of fans. Danny's got a ton of fans.
Yeah, you guys both have a lot of fans. I remember that.
It was the perfect setup.
Yeah.
For an epic ending that both these guys. I think if they were to fight 10 times, I think there'd be maybe 1, maybe 2 first round knockouts. Like, these are both high level guys. So you don't know what's going to happen, but I think the majority of the time that fight's going the distance and bloody battles. Yeah. But people weren't ready for it, and it was just a great way to start the championship fights.
Yeah, definitely set the pace for the rest of the night. You started really high with that awesome highlight, a knockout, and then the rest of the night just stayed right there. It didn't get any lower than that. It was just high intensity the rest of the night, which was really awesome. You guys make sure, if you're able to make it out to a SparStar fight night, to get your tickets ahead of time, because it gets packed out and it's a great time. But I'm very curious in hearing a little bit about your fight history, because you mentioned you've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now for 5 years. You got promoted to a brown belt recently, and I was just telling Michael before you got here that in the amateurs, I noticed that fighters from fight to fight can change drastically. Yeah. They can improve drastically. It's like companies, like there's the blue stock chips. When you're investing in companies that have been around forever, like Walmart, they're not going to grow much, but they're going to stay steady. And I think of like elite pro MMA fighters at a super high level. They don't improve drastically, maybe a little bit here and there, but they are who they are. Mm-hmm. But amateur fighters are like those new companies, that IPO that can actually go crazy overnight, or it could die. It has nothing, So that's an interesting thing that I like to see when I see a amateur fighter that has great potential, to see how they improve, what they decide to focus on. Some people like to focus on their grappling. Some people like to focus on this or that, and you see their evolution. So tell us a little bit about, your fight history. What was your origination, whether it was, straight MMA, was it boxing, was it kickboxing? Obviously it wasn't jiu-jitsu. You said you didn't learn until later. Yeah. So let's get into it, brother.
I actually started boxing when I was 15 at Chino Boxing Club, just because a lot of the people in my area that I grew up with, we all boxed.
Y'all gangsters, huh?
Yeah, so
you gotta know how to box if you live out here.
Yeah, because
same here, bro. But I was in Ontario. Ontario boxing. We'd probably fight you guys.
Yeah. No, I'm from Ontario.
Oh, okay. We're probably fighting the same place.
Yeah. So
I used to fight for Sanchez boxing right there in the corner of Mountain and what is that, Mission?
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started training over there at Chino Boxing Club when I was 15, just because we're the smaller guys, and then kind of running around that area. You're getting a lot of fights, and we knew, well, at least I knew eventually, like, someone's going to whoop me, because I'm not the biggest dude. So started training, then fell in love with it right away. I trained boxing every day for like a year and a half, but I never competed because there was a lot of amateur fighters at the gym at the time, so they didn't really have time to focus on individual guys. So I never competed, but then I joined the gym I'm at now when I was about to turn 17. I was 16. I started kickboxing, and right away, like, I fell in love with it. I knew I was going to fight MMA, like, in the long run. Like, I always planned on making this my career from the very beginning. What
was that spark? Did you watch fighting with your family? Did you see a certain MMA fighter? What made you say, like, that's what I want to do? I want to be an MMA fighter, because it's kind of rare. People don't see, like, someone getting kicked in the face, and they're like, I think I want to do that.
Yeah, I was never really like a school kid, like, or I'm gonna go to college or do something like that. I always felt like I was never gonna be like at a sit down job or anything like that.
Like a 9 to 5.
Yeah. So when I started boxing, I realized, like, oh, like, this is something I can make happen, like, as a career, and really invest myself as long as I put the time and the effort into it. And then it's funny because I actually started watching Jose Aldo. I don't know if you know the UFC world champion and stuff.
He was a champ for a long time.
Yeah, I became a big fan of his. So at the same time that I was boxing, I had a heavy bag in my garage. So I would practice my kicks on my own and start, like, warming up that way. Yeah. And funny enough, he ended up fighting Conor McGregor. Yeah. But before, so in the lead up to that fight, before they were supposed to fight, when Conor ended up fighting Chad Mendes, I had found out about him, and, like, something about him, like, just kind of drew me to him, like, because I'm, like, kind of similar to that, like, where I'm, like, I like to talk, like, joke around, like, get like that. So something about it, like, just kind of been like, all right, there's people like me, like, that could get into this realm, Yeah. And then, like, as I got older, it's just kind of developed into my own thing, because I was young when I started. So, like, I was, like, 16, 17. I had my first fight at 18.
Kickboxing?
No, MMA.
MMA,
I had my first, like, 4 or 5 fights MMA with no
grappling
at all. Yeah, I had wrestled for a year in high school, but I didn't have the grades, so I couldn't compete. So I was just doing the season, like, the whole training camps and everything with them. So I was able to take all my opponents down, but, like, once I got them down, like, I had no idea what to do. So a lot of times they would just bounce back up, and that's where actually most of my losses come from. I lost, like, 3 out of my first 4 fights.
Because of that?
Yeah, because of that. Okay. And then so after that, I took some time and really focused on my grappling, focused on jiu-jitsu, and really improving in that area. And it just happened, like, when I started grappling, that it came really natural to me, like, kickboxing, striking, like, I got good, but because I put so much time and effort into it, versus, like, jiu-jitsu, like, it kind of just flowed.
It was
like,
natural.
Yeah, I started just getting good just off the rip.
Putting a fish in water, swim easily.
So after that, I kind of fell in love with it. So I took, like, 2 years to really just focus on training, dedicating myself. I trained every day. After I got my blue belt 6 months after starting jiu-jitsu. And once I got my blue belt, I was training every day and, like, twice a day for, like, 2 years after that. Yeah. And then I had
twice a day?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then when COVID happened, because I didn't work or nothing, like, I was fully committed to training and stuff. And then COVID happened, and so I started working and stuff. So I had missed, like, I was on and off at the gym for, like, 3 months here.
Was the gym open during COVID?
Half, I think, like, it was closed for a little bit, but then it reopened.
It was officially closed.
Yeah.
Okay, those back doors. That's funny. That's actually how I came aware of Logic Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Our sponsor was during COVID. We had the kids in the house, and we had an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old, and we're just going crazy with these kids. Like, we got to get them out of the house, man. Like, they're freaking driving us crazy. So we're looking for whatever's open, and we happened to find out there was a gym right there in Arcadia, and same thing. The front was all, like, papered up,
Yeah.
We went through the back and we had everybody we were training, But it was safe. Nobody got COVID.
Yeah. So we had I really didn't train at all 2020, but like I said, like 3 months here and then the rest of the year kind of just missing. And then 2021 is when I really like came back and was like fully committed, because I always knew like I had a talent, it was just a matter of putting it all together.
Yeah.
So then I had my first fight back last year in April, and I won that one, second round submission, guillotine. And then I fought again in December, and I won that one, rear naked choke, first round. And then I had just fought in March, and I won first round armbar. So I feel like if anything has helped me grow the most is for sure grappling.
Okay.
And then I have one of the best coaches in the area, especially when it comes to grappling. So Franklin Aguirre.
Aguirre?
Yeah,
okay.
He's 5th degree black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Awesome.
3rd degree black belt in judo.
Wow, shout out.
I wanted to talk about that because after your win, you said you didn't just say they're going to remember the name Danny Martinez. You said Danny Martinez and Aguirre Fighting Systems. Yeah. So like, what's your relationship with your gym? Like, how'd you create that bond?
So actually, my kickboxing coach Jay, he's my cousin. So that's how I was introduced to the gym. But like I said, I joined the gym when I was like 16. So I was real young. Like I have my dad, but like our relationship isn't like kind of like wobbly sometimes.
Yeah.
So coach has always kind of like been there for me in like certain type of ways, and he's always cared for me like more than a coach. Like there was times where I couldn't afford to pay the gym, and like I was like a lot behind, like thousands of dollars like owed to him, and he just let me continue to train. He would help me, have me start teaching classes, helping out around the gym, cleaning up, stuff like that. He always wanted to keep me in the gym, and there was a period, like I said, like I was kind of running around doing my own thing, just being a knucklehead, and he would talk to my mom, like call my mom, like, hey, what's going on, like, so we've always had like more of a family type relationship, like, so everyone at the gym, because I've been there since I was a kid, and I was always like in and out, like having certain things, situations that he knows about, so he's always been trying to keep me in the gym away from all of that, so we've definitely grown like a really close relationship. That's like my best friend.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you hear that from so many fighters.
Yeah,
sleeping in the gym or whatever. When someone takes an interest in you like that, it just pays off exponentially.
Yeah, and he's done like so much for me. Like I can't even explain. Like I work at the gym now. That's all I do. Like I train. I teach kids. Like that's my job. Like I get to do what I love because of him.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
So, and sorry to put this on you, but like it sounds like when you were first starting, you were just like an old school sprawl and brawl fighter. Without the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
What was he saying then? Was he like,
he always told
me,
you? He always used to tell me like, you need to grapple, So I would do like little MMA grappling, but nothing like actually like jiu-jitsu or actually like partaking in classes or anything like that. So he was always on me, but my coach, like when I say he has like the utmost confidence in me, like you could ask him if he thinks I'll beat who's the champion, Sean O'Malley, and he'll tell you like 100%, and he'll believe it in his heart. So he's always just been like that, ever since I started. He's like, oh, well, we'll figure out a way to win. And like I said, I had wrestled, so like I was the one taking everybody down. So if it wasn't for that, like I wasn't going to the ground, So for the most part, and I'm like actually a really crisp striker, so for the most part, I was able to keep that distance and keep that range, It was just when my instincts would kick in and I would take them down, that's when the problems would, kind of come about. But no, he was always on me about, no, you need to grapple. It's funny because I will never forget one time he always, he told me, he said that, I forgot who it was, but a black belt had came into the gym and they had seen us training and like he seen me sparring and stuff. And I hadn't even been grappling at the time. Like we were just rolling a little bit no-gi. And he had told my coach, he was like, oh, like, he's good on the feet. He was like, but if he starts grappling, like, he's going to be a beast, like, And
you
then,
saw it.
Yeah, sure enough, like, the grappling just came so natural to me. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, I mean, you have you're the champ now.
Yeah.
The 135-pound champ. You're going to be defending that. Which SparStar fight night will he be?
Yeah. For people who don't know, coming up September 30th, we have our former champion, Jordan Azurdia, who won the belt, never lost it, but he's been injured for like a year. So he's taking on Chris Martinez, and the winner of that will fight Danny in November. So
that's right.
2 epic fights coming up.
Yeah.
And I guess this really just leads to the question, who would you rather fight, Chris Martinez or Jordan?
I want to fight both of them, to be honest.
At the same time?
Nah, yeah. Chris, I want to fight him just because he be, like, tagging me on Instagram, doing a lot of that type of stuff, you know, and, like, I'm not into that. So I'll fight him, but if we're talking about, like, skills, I don't think he really does much for me. I think Jordan's the better fighter.
Jaguar Paw?
Yeah, and he looks better on the record, you know. He's undefeated, so
Yeah.
I beat him, and then that's two undefeated fighters back-to-back.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of that actor from that movie Apocalypto.
Oh, yeah.
I think his name was actually Jaguar Paw.
Yeah, it was.
That's why they call him that.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think that's his nickname, right?
Yeah, so you're the bad guy.
You're the one chasing him?
You need people like me.
That's it. You need people like me.
Yeah.
So how do you see that fight going with you and Jordan? Because to this point, no one's been able to stop his wrestling. You know, I know his hands are coming around, but usually when he gets tagged, he goes for that double leg and it's all over.
I feel like to stop his wrestling, like, these people haven't had wrestling to counter it, you know? So, like, I definitely feel like I have the grappling to go against that. Like, I don't feel like he's going to just be able to take me down. I seen him. Was he at the last SparStar?
Yeah.
I think I've seen him in the back. Like, I for sure have the size advantage on him. And I'm not just looking to avoid the takedown. Like, you could, if you take me down, which I don't think will happen, now we're grappling, and at that point, you know, I'm very confident in my skills on the ground. But definitely on the feet, I feel it's not really, you know.
Yeah.
But he's good. He keeps the pressure going, but like I have noticed in his last couple fights, like how you said, once he gets tagged, he definitely is shooting for those takedowns. But that's not something I'm necessarily, like, trying to avoid or, like, you know.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I think he'll beat Chris. Because that's not, you know, it won't take much.
Wow. So Chris has no chance in this fight.
I mean, I want him to win.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
What happens if you fight Chris?
I finish him.
How?
First round, whatever I want.
Whatever you feel like doing that day.
Now I want to see both these fights.
Well, Chris, are you hearing that? You better be training hard, brother.
Yeah.
And Jaguar Paw. Mr. Jordan. I look forward to seeing him fight. I just saw his fight that you mentioned, the last one against.
Yeah, Jordan's been with us for the start, and just like Danny, you know, he brings half the city with him, and and the crowd loves it, and he puts on a show. Yeah,
man, these events are just so exciting, and it's such a great way to showcase the amazing fighters that are in the promotion, SparStar Promotions. We have, you know, some elite level champions that I think people need to come out and check out. You know, so I know the next event is going to be September 30th at the amazing Commerce Casino in Commerce, California. Guys, tickets are out now. Make sure you purchase your tickets. If you have a friend, a family member, a cousin or neighbor that is fighting on this card, make sure to come out and support them. It's the only way to help the fighters and help the promotion grow, which I think is the best thing we could do to help these fighters elevate and get to the next level. What are some of the other fights that are going to be going on for this next coming fight night?
I mean, the card is already stacked. Our amazing matchmaker, Heather Soto, is our goal is always to be better than the last one, and the last one was sick. So
yeah,
right now
it's gonna be hard to top.
Exactly.
With 4 championship belts.
Yeah. So we do have another title fight in the works, and it looks like Mackenzie Jade, who you've seen many times, fighting SparStar newcomer Justine Ronas.
Awesome.
So that's going to be a sick one. Weston Quiros is back. Oh man. My fight of the night pick, Marino Napuri, who hasn't fought with us since before COVID.
Oh, wow.
He's 4-0 with 4 TKOs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We'll have some clips rolling out here pretty soon.
What weight class is he in?
145.
Oh, he's a big guy.
I believe it's 45 or 55. I'm not sure. And he's fighting Gregory Tomas, and that guy's sick too. We just saw him get a awesome TKO at SSP 54, so... The card is stacked. We got a ton of guys coming in. Return of Riley Beeson. I could go on all day, but we'll do a preview show for that.
That's right, man. Well, guys, make sure that you purchase your tickets for the event. Is there anything you want to promote or anything, Danny?
Nothing. Just follow me on Instagram, Striker15, the words 15. That's pretty much it. I'll be back November 25th to defend my belt.
Awesome. And you said you're also a coach, a trainer at Aguirre Fight Systems in Fontana, California. So guys, make sure if you're in Fontana, you want to come check out the champ over here doing what he loves, which is teaching people how to beat up others. Just kidding. How to defend yourself. Just kidding. Respect. And make sure to follow the SparStar YouTube channel. Follow the Dreams to Reality Network.
Oh, yeah. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
For those of you watching around the world, the both fights, the next one, SparStar 56 and 57, when Danny's back in the cage, those will be available live through our YouTube for members only. So join that membership, subscribe, and join the membership. And
that's right.
You can watch whether you're in Nebraska or Hong Kong or wherever.
Awesome. And we'll see you guys next time.